absolutely no idea that was coming. No exaggeration. I literally had no idea. I thought it was a normal meeting and I was going to give my boss a book recommendation, and then he decided to say, we're not moving forward with you for employment.
Truly, you never know when you're going to get a random meeting on your calendar that you're going to get laid off.
So I think I'm being laid off from my job today. If you couldn't tell by my appearance, I have been crying all morning. I haven't even had my meeting yet.
And based on the shift and ongoing efforts to simplify the way we work, unfortunately, your position has been eliminated.
When a company takes that control out of your hands, it sucks.
I get into a conversation with like an older man. I was talking about how, screwed up the economy was, and an almost 60-year-old man had no other suggestions for me, with a master's degree, entrepreneurial, than to go work at McDonald's or Target.
We already know it's hard out here in these streets. People are getting laid off left and right. And every time you look around, there's another story of somebody waking up to a meeting and getting laid off. In today's video, we're going to look at and examine a few examples of those situations. But before we do that, make sure that you guys hit that like button, also subscribe to the channel. And with that, let's get into this video.
Absolutely no idea that was coming. No exaggeration. I literally had no idea. I thought it was a normal meeting and I was going to give my boss a book recommendation, and then he decided to say, we're not moving forward with you for employment. What? My stutter gets really bad when I'm worked up. I'm upset, I'm angry, I'm disappointed, I'm hurt, I'm confused. Here's the thing about getting laid off in America or getting your job taken from you like in any moment, right? Not only is your security of that main source of income just completely stripped from you, say bye to your health insurance. Say bye to your dental. You know what's so funny to me as well is when we leave a job, we are courteous enough to and almost forced to believe that we have to do the 2 weeks, right? The 2 weeks notice. Let me give them 2 weeks notice. Let me do that. But these employers are able to be like, no, this is actually your last minute on the job. And as soon as you hang up this Zoom call that you thought was just going to be like a friendly little meeting, but we're actually taking away your job, we're going to lock you out of your email. We're going to lock you out of all of your accounts. So those abandonment issues you have, trigger. You can't say goodbye to your coworkers, trigger. This wasn't my dream job by any means, any way, shape, or form, to be honest with you. It was honestly, it didn't align at all. But in this economy, when I'm in a very transitional phase of life right now. So that was at least a pillar of stability that was had. Oh my God. I think I'm going through all the stages of grief. I've already cried. I probably will later, but I don't feel bad for myself. Also, I'm not victimizing myself. I know that getting laid, it's not the end of the world. Everything's going to be okay. Rejection is redirection. I'm an adaptable bitch. Trust me. But it's just okay. I guess it's time to start the podcast. I don't know, man. I don't know anything anymore.
Now, when she say jobs expect you to put in a 2 weeks notice, she is absolutely right. They want you to let them know when you're going to be gone, but they may sneak around and fire you out of the blue. And in most cases, you'll be lucky to get a severance package. If that, you may get a goodbye, maybe. Who knows? In this economy nowadays, it's extremely hard to even be afloat, especially if you just got a job and you got fired before you had the opportunity to stack up as much money as you can. But when you got bills that are high, groceries are high, it's a high chance that you may be struggling. However, it's not all doom and gloom at the end of the day. When one door closes, another one will open. You just have to go and find it.
Thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, of course.
Killer. This is not an easy day. It's not easy to say these words to you, but as it was announced during the town hall, our goal is to become a world-class function as we establish and accelerate and orchestrate existing and new business processes, policies, and operational services. Therefore, the team will implement changes that will result in a change of competencies and responsibilities across various leadership and support roles. And based on the shift and ongoing efforts to simplify the way we work, unfortunately, your position has been eliminated. This is not a reflection of your performance, and I do encourage you to apply for any new roles that do interest you.
We're asking you to work until May 24th. That's going to be your release day, just to ensure business continuity.
Do you have any questions?
No, just a lot to process, but not right now.
You know, the more I watch these videos, the more I think to myself, I just really couldn't imagine me recording myself being fired. I wouldn't want a soul to know until they find out that I have a different job. Now, look, you may feel entirely different about that, but let me know you think about that down in the comment section. But since she is recording herself in her firing process, let's just talk about the age-old line that was used in this video. It was not indicative of your performance. However, the position that you are in is being eliminated. It makes me think, is there a new head honcho in the building? Is the position really being eliminated, or are there going to just be less people doing that same job? There are so many different things that could be wrapped up in that sentence, but you see it all the time. I would say in this situation, they did at least give her some days in order to regroup and think about her next move, even though that's not what she wanted to hear, as we clearly saw towards the end of the video. At the end of the day, though, that is still income that she's going to be losing. If she has insurance through her company, she's still going to be losing that. Whether they let you stay for a couple of days and figure things out, or whether they throw you out to the wolves.
So I think I'm being laid off from my job today. If you couldn't tell by my appearance, I have been crying all morning. I haven't even had my meeting yet, but I got a calendar meeting today from someone I've never spoken to at the company, and a bunch of other people did too. So I am recording this because I feel like a lot of people can probably find comfort in knowing they're not alone. So we will see. Maybe it'll be something positive. Maybe I'm not getting laid off, but I am shaking.
That does impact your position. Today is going to be your last day.
I've loved my time here and I'm very thankful for it. So I appreciate it. I did not think that that would be my last day. My laptop's not even working anymore for me to like save things like.
All right, what she just did, man, don't y'all ever let happen. You may want to cry in that situation if it happens to you. And I think I'm mainly speaking to the ladies right now. But don't you let them see you. Don't you let them folks see you cry on that live. If you decide you want to cry after, I know it's hard, I know it's sad, but do not give them folks that. If you've been working hard, truly, been working hard, busting it, and they call you up to fire you, don't you let them folks see that. No.
Got laid off on Thursday. Today's Monday, and I have a lot of thoughts, so let's talk about it. For reference, I'm 28 years old. I've been working in corporate America for, 8 years. I graduated college in 2018, and this is my second, technically third time getting laid off if you include a furlough from COVID. I was not expecting it at all. I was pretty blindsided, but I am super, super thankful for this layoff versus my last one, and let me explain to you why. The last time I got laid off, I was 24 years old, and I had just purchased my condo. So my first piece of property, the only piece of property I own, I used most of my savings to purchase it. It's truly my biggest accomplishment. And 2 months later, I had no employment.
Now that's tough, especially after you get that first property. It's yours, especially if it ain't no problems with it. You live it on a high for a second. You can afford the bills in there. You're doing pretty good. But let's continue to see.
I vowed to myself from that moment on, I would never let myself feel so scared and so hopeless ever again, because I truly wasn't sure what I was going to do. Like, I was like, I think I'm going to be on food stamps. And my parents, just for backstory, like, I had no assistance getting my house. My parents sent me dish towels as a thank you present. Like, I 100% did this on my own. So it was 100% my responsibility to figure out what I'm going to do. With that being said,
I like that mindset.
I then met my now fiance a year and a half later, and I live in his house, and we rent out my property still. So we do make a little bit of rental income. I also teach Pilates, and I own my own Pilates grip socks business. And I have done this weekend what is called redistributing my calories, now knowing one of my sources of income will be diminished. So I guess my biggest piece of advice here for women, because that's who I'm really talking to, but truly anyone, is do not put all of your eggs in one basket. I don't care if you have the best corporate job in the world. I don't care if you think you have the job security. I used to tell people that this was the job I was retiring to, and I absolutely got blindsided by this. But I do not have to worry about how I'm going to put food on the table or what I'm going to do when I wake up tomorrow, because I have 2 other sources of income, 3 if you count my rental, 3 other sources of income, but 2 other businesses, teaching Pilates and owning my Pilates sub company, that I can now put more of my calories in and redistribute while looking for more full-time work. I am not saying quit your job and going all in on being an entrepreneur. If that suits you, great. But I love corporate America. I've always loved the stability of it, but do not put all of your eggs in one basket. I don't care if it's a hobby, an interest, something you might kind of be interested in. Dive into it, explore it, and figure out how to monetize it, because truly, you never know when you're going to get a random meeting on your calendar that you're going to get laid off. I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just being realistic. And it's really important just for your character development and as a person to have like a multifaceted personality, to be able to have hobbies that I've been able to monetize and take as something outside of work. I love teaching because I work from home and it gets me out of the house, but I also know I can kind of flow in and flow out of it as much as I want, depending on what I need in my life. So like truly, if you have not already, like especially everybody, but really women, like, because that's who I'm talking to, like, find something you're minorly interested in. It does not have to be the fire that's lit under your ass. It doesn't have to be your be-all, end-all passion project. You don't have to be obsessed with it every day. You're not going to be obsessed with anything every single day. But you need to find something that you can lean into and just figure out additionally, like, how you could monetize that, like, what you can grow from it. It doesn't have to be your own business. It could literally be a side hustle, but, like, truly find a side hustle, find something else. So in case you ever need to, you can diversify those calories, because you never, ever, ever know when you're going to need to lean in.
I know she says she's talking to women, but that advice applies to anybody, everybody. The thing about it is you never know when that time might be for you. It's great to have some other way to make money other than your everyday, other than the day-to-day. You need other ways to make some type of income, and a lot of people believe it has to be a lot of money. It really doesn't. It can be a couple $100 here, it can be a few dollars there. As long as you're making some extra money, and then you're compiling that, saving it for that rainy day, that emergency fund. We all need one, all right? So when you say that this is just for women, no. And the thing about it is, she also seems to me has a great partner as well. Somebody who came along, and I'm not saying he just swooped in like Prince Charming and saved her, but what I am saying is, when you have 2, it's damn sure better than 1. When you have somebody and y'all on one accord, y'all both are hustling, don't diminish how important and powerful that can be. That's all I'm saying.
So in November of 2023, I got laid off from my job. It was a decent paying job, benefits, you get your mental health days, remote, it had a lot of great incentives. From that point on, I was looking for work, got a few interviews, constantly sending out resumes and being proactive. Didn't think it should be that difficult with a master's degree to find something. Wasn't looking for anything elegant or anything crazy. Just something preferably remote, but even if it wasn't remote, I was okay with it. So fast forward to earlier this year, I go to a church event. It's a men's event at my local church. I get into a conversation with like an older man. He's almost, I think he was like 58 years old. I was talking about how, screwed up the economy was, and, how I had been looking for work and I couldn't find work and I had gotten laid off. This dude goes into a rant about how we just don't want to work, and, McDonald's is hiring, and Walmart or Target are hiring. An almost 60-year-old man had no other suggestions for me, with a master's degree, entrepreneurial, than to go work at McDonald's or Target. And I posed this question: should we just give up on seeking advice from the older generation? Even though I didn't seek advice, it was actually unsolicited. He projected his fears onto me about what he would do.
Now, to answer that question directly, I don't believe so. There are some people in the community who can give great advice on different things other than McDonald's or Target. However, I understand where he was coming from in a sense, and I understand where you're coming from in a sense. In his eyes, he's looking at you as somebody who hasn't worked in a while as being lazy. Let's just keep it honest here. But the thing about it is, you may be looking at him like, I got money. I don't need to work at McDonald's. I don't know his situation personally, but I think that's where he is coming from, and that's why he's asking this question. It all just depends. If you're dealing with somebody who came from back in the day and took whatever job they needed to survive at the time, you're going to get that kind of answer. If you were looking for something like, hey, you need to do this, this, and this in order to get your businesses started, in order to get different things running up, more of, let's say, a entrepreneurial type of answer, you probably wasn't going to receive that type of information from him. However, there are plenty of older gentlemen who could have given you a different type of answer. So I wouldn't give up on that. I also would not knock McDonald's or Target. I don't think that's what you were trying to do. It just sounds like, to me, you were looking for a little bit more and you didn't get it. So it is what it is.
I just got let go from my job as part of organizational shifts and return to office. As you guys know, I have been a remote employee for the past 5 years, really since the beginning of the pandemic. And I'm crying not because I'm sad that I got let go. Obviously, the instability of losing an income always sucks. What sucks most about being let go is somebody taking control out of your hands. I always preach internally and here at home that we have got to be the people in the driving seat of our futures, of our careers. And when a company takes that control out of your hands, it sucks, because all of a sudden the plan that you had, the roadmap that you were on board for, is gone. Now you've got to start over. And this is why you've always got to have a plan B, a plan C, and most importantly, an emergency fund. I am incredibly upset and frustrated. There have been several shifts in the company in this last couple of months that I just knew the writing was on the wall, and I knew my time was coming. But the fact that we have an emergency fund, because ultimately that is what matters at the end of the day, is that we have money to pay our mortgage, to pay for our daycare. We have that as a fallback, and I can take time, maybe a week, to just collect my thoughts and put together a strategy for job hunting. Always be prepared for the unexpected, because ultimately companies will always put themselves first. And as much as you want to believe that you're part of the family, you like the people you work with, it's a business transaction. It's a business contract, and you've got to handle it as such. But please know that you are more than your job. You are more than what you do. Have a plan, have an emergency fund. Do not spend more than you need to. Live below your means. We are in strange times. That isn't beside me losing the job, just general messaging. Protect yourselves, treat yourself as a business, and always be looking for better opportunities, because companies would do the same, and they are.
I did not hear one single lie in that entire soliloquy right there. She was on point. She's not as sad. Why? Because she has that emergency fund, because a rainy day could happen at any point in time. And today for her, or whenever it was, this was a rainy day. But she had that fund, and she is ready if she needs to just sit back and relax. She can woosah for a second, gather her thoughts, and then execute the game plan. And a lot of people are not as fortunate as her. I think she deserves a round of applause. And on top of that, cool, calm, collected. She knows the game. She knows that even though she may have been treated as family there, she may have been treated like family there. At the end of the day, if they had a business move that could have been made in order to increase profit, whatever, they were going to make it, and she just so happened to be a casualty of that move. And so shout out to her though for knowing the game, being cognitive of the game, and just taking it all in, having that emergency fund, something that a lot of people should work towards. And you just kind of have to hope you have that time in order to build it. But that's why you need those other streams of income. You need those other lines of getting money into your account, because you got to get that fund just in case something crazy happens. The economy is going crazy. It's expensive to live. Everything is just out of whack. Prepare yourself and be ready just in case something unfortunate happens to you. And it doesn't even have to be being laid off. It could be a transmission going out in your car or something. I know that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video. Don't forget to like, comment, also subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.